Here's a fact that still blows my mind daily. Part 1 of must-have Quest 2 games has over 220,000 views, which is insane for a channel my size, and I thought that since you guys loved it so much, I'd make a part 2, so let's have a look. Hey there, Andy here, welcome back to VR Man Cave. As promised, even though I've lately uploaded 2 videos that only talk about PC VR games from Steam, I am still looking out for you Quest 2 standalone users. And since the first part of this video did so insanely well, and some of the current best games weren't even out back when I made that one, so I think a refreshed part 2 was called for. Now let's jump in and check out another 10 must-have games for your Quest and Quest 2. Thrill of the Fight. Whether you're a fan of the Fight Night series, for the ones of you who remember it, or just want to be motivated to work out, then Thrill of the Fight might be right up your alley. Step into the boxing ring with this simple yet quite challenging game. The developers advise that you have at least a 2x2 meter play space, as you'll physically have to move, dodge, and block if you want to stand a chance of winning matches, of course. But to be honest, I have way less than that in this room that I'm filming in right now, and it still works just fine, though since it doesn't have a button for artificially moving in the ring, sometimes it's a bit difficult to move as much as I'd like. The game also offers a selection of training modes such as a speed bag, a heavy bag, a focus ball, and a workout dummy. The developers have confirmed that they plan to release Thrill of the Fight this year, and it's supposed to also have multiplayer, so you'll be able to knock out your friends in the ring without any of you getting even a scratch. Well, unless you accidentally punch a wall or your desk while playing, which I have to admit I've done plenty of times. Normally, I'd say wait for the second part of the game, but honestly for the low price this one has, I'd recommend you get it ASAP because it's super fun and way more realistic than Creed Rise to Glory. Contractors. This modern VR online shooter is often put in the same bucket as Onward or Pavlov. And granted, it has some similarities to those games, but it's quite different in its approach. The gun handling is just brilliant and the pace is just right for newcomers and enthusiasts alike. Because if Pavlov is basically Counter-Strike and Onward is a bit more tactical, Contractors feels like a good middle ground. Kind of a VR offspring of Call of Duty and Medal of Honor. It has a lot of game modes, both solo and PvP ones, and also co-op for those interested in playing with friends. The PC version looks quite a bit better, but it's kind of expected as the Quest 2, as amazing as it is, can't really run PC-grade graphics. But if you're lucky enough to have a VR-ready PC, then good news, because Contractors is cross-buy, so you'll get both the Quest and the Rift versions. Let me know what you think of it, or if you prefer Pavlov or Onward and why. Blaston. Honestly, I really underestimated this one before playing it, but I've said it many times and I'll say it again. Simplicity when it comes to VR mechanics is something that wins almost every time, because a game that's simple to pick up, where everything is natural and you pretty much don't even need the tutorial to get the grips of it, is just incredible, and one of the main selling points of the Quest is the ease with which you can just pick it up and be in VR anywhere, anytime. Anyway, in this game you will go head to head with other opponents or your friends online in multiple pretty short rounds, and you have to defeat them by using various weapons and shields that spawn mid-air, allowing you to grab whichever one seems right. And again, as simple as that sounds, it's so much fun, especially because you can also speak to your opponent while playing, and other people or friends can even sit in the audience to watch the duel. One other really cool thing is that you can party up with multiple friends at the in-game bar and have them sit in the audience and take turns battling in a hot seat type mode. It's much more fun than you'd think, and it's pretty cheap, so give it a go, you'll love it. Dash Dash World. I hadn't tried this one yet when I made the first part of this video, and boy was I wrong not to, because it absolutely deserves to be on this list. This wacky Mario Kart lookalike has a lot of different tracks, weapons, and power-ups, and it can also be played seated, since your character literally sits in a cart the entire time. In case it wasn't immediately obvious, this title is a multiplayer one, so you can race your friends or others online to become the ultimate champion. And if you have a Quest 2, it has some really sweet graphics and 90Hz support compared to the Quest 1, so you have even more of a reason to play it. Oh, and you can also play it with virtual steering, which basically lets you steer with your hands on the actual wheel instead of using the analog stick. I think you get the idea of this one. It's pretty straightforward but extremely fun, so jump in and see you on the tracks. 11 Table Tennis. This is, from my point of view and many others, the VR table tennis game available right now on the Quest and Quest 2. The accent here is on realism, so expect a simulator-like experience with extremely realistic physics that will emphasize the importance of precise control of your paddle and the added bonus of you actually being able to feel the sensation of hitting the ball thanks to haptic feedback. And if you've ever played ping pong in real life, you know it can be quite the workout too. It's about as close to the real thing as it gets when it comes to VR, so be ready to move more than just your hands. It has both a single player mode where you'll be facing 5 different levels of AI opponents, as well as full online multiplayer against either your friends or strangers. In a future accessories video, I'll be showing you this, a ping pong paddle designed to work flawlessly in this game with full support, so consider subscribing and hit that bell to make sure you don't miss that video and others. Now let's move on. Population 1. As pretty much the staple of Battle Royale VR games on the Quest platform, the mechanics are just as fun as they look in the trailer, and shooting, climbing, and flying are very well implemented core mechanics of the game. You've probably at least heard about it already at this point, but what you might not know if you don't yet have it is that the developers are constantly improving it, adding new weapons, opening up new locations in the map, and giving us new modes like the recent private lobby solos, where you can play solos against 17 other friends of yours in a custom game. It has quickly become a must-have title for the Quest 2 in my humble opinion, and I've had some super fun sessions in this game with the guys on my Discord server, which if you haven't joined already, definitely do. In Death Unchained. This is my go-to roguelite on the Quest platform, because I love the physics of the bow, the arrows, and the enemies that are all really well polished, and nailing a headshot from a distant rooftop is as satisfying as it gets. You'll go through procedurally generated levels, which means every time you die and restart, the entire layout of the level will be different. The controls are also very intuitive, and by the time I finished the short tutorial, I was confident I knew exactly what I needed to do. You'll encounter lots of different types of enemies, from zombies, undead Templars, monks, ghosts, and many others, and since the worlds are procedurally generated, so are the enemies. So they will not only be found in different places around the map every time, but also adapt to your level of skill, so as you progress, you'll encounter more powerful and smarter enemies and in higher numbers. Espire 1. I'm a big fan of the Metal Gear Solid series, and as much as I wish they just bring Solid Snake to VR already, for now Espire 1 is the closest thing we can get, and it also has elements from Max Payne and Hitman, so hearing those 3 names in the same sentence would have sold me way earlier on this one. The premise is that you're a secret agent controlling a robot operative through enemy locations in order to achieve your objectives and basically save the world or something. You'll need to quietly take out enemies and sneak around on, under, and above floor level. The cool thing is that because you're remote controlling a robot, death is not too much of a big deal in this game because there are multiple of them throughout the game, so you just jump into a new one and keep going. You can grab onto surfaces and climb, and that makes it super fun because it allows you to take multiple routes to avoid or stealthily take out enemies. And since I mentioned some similarities to other games at first, then if you're also a fan of Max Payne, you'll be happy to hear bullet time is available in Espire 1 too. I haven't finished the game yet, but I've been playing it a fair bit and I've been thoroughly enjoying it, so hopefully you will too. Hyperdash. This is an arena-based multiplayer shooter with a few different game modes such as Domination, Deathmatch, or Payload, that all put you in the middle of the action either alone or as part of a team. It's a fast-paced game where you'll be able to dash, aka teleport, as well as grind on rails while taking out your opponents with various weapons you'll find sprinkled around the maps. I've played this one ever since it was free on SideQuest, where it had a whopping 4.9 rating out of 5, but since then it's become a paid game on the official Oculus store. And while the fact that it went from free to paid sucks, it has received quite a lot of upgrades in the process because everything looks and feels super good, and it's a lot more polished than the free pre-release version was. So in my opinion, it's worth the money because the developers have done a great job, and they're constantly working on it to release new maps and modes. So for me, a dedicated team like that is always a good sign that a game will only get better with time. Pistol Whip. What does this game have in common with John Wick, LSD, and EDM beats? Well, kind of everything and nothing at the same time. Let me explain. In this rhythm-based action first-person shooter, you'll slide across beautifully simple psychedelic levels, shooting waves of enemies to the tune of dubstep beats while trying to dodge their bullets and the environment. The landscapes pulse and warp to the music, so it's a pretty intense experience, but that's what makes it a hell of a lot of fun. The developers have recently released a story mode for it too, called Pistol Whip 2089, which is pretty much an on-rails shooter, but it's well made and keeps the same core mechanics from the main game with new maps, beats, and enemies, and they seem to be really invested in making the game even better over time, so I look forward to see what the developers come up with. But they're about to announce something this following week on April 21st, and I'm going to be doing a special live stream so that we can watch Oculus's first ever gaming showcase together. So stick around because Oculus is about to announce a lot of awesome games, or at least that's what I'm hoping for. Which ones of these have you tried so far? And what others would you have liked to see on the list? Let's have a conversation about that in the comments, cause I always reply to every single comment I get. So let me know your answers down below. Don't forget to like this video if you've enjoyed it or dislike it if you didn't, but at least let me know why so I can improve my content. And now, if you want to watch some more videos right here on YouTube, consider clicking either this or this. I really appreciate each and every one of you who have watched this video, so thank you and have a fantastic day. I'll see you soon. Cheers. Since you guys loved it so much, I'd and since the first let's jump in and see which I really appreciate each and every one of you who have watched this, so thank you. Oh, thank you, sir.